If fear has ever held you back from doing something important, this video is for you. Over the past 7 years of building my company, I've probably read High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard a dozen times. And today is the final video in our 6-part series where I break down each of the habits and how I apply them as a founder. If you want to follow along with the series, I've also created a free 30-day habit accelerator with prompts to help you figure out where to start and what to focus on. It's linked in the description. I've coached a lot of founders through habit building, and the biggest trap I see, and one that I've personally fallen into many times, is trying to do everything at once. That's why this series is designed to help you get hyper-specific, focus on one habit at a time, and apply what actually matters for the season you're in. So let's wrap this up with the final habit from the book, Demonstrate Courage. In this video, I'll share what Brendon means when he says demonstrate courage, and the 3 practices you can use to accelerate becoming more courageous. Brendon explains that this habit is the cornerstone of high performance. Having higher courage dramatically increases your overall performance in each of the other 5 habits we've been talking about. But before I get into these practices, here's what most people actually get wrong about courage. More than just about any other characteristic, people think of courage as something you're born with. You either have it or you don't. But that's just not true. It's something high performers learn to develop over time. And it's not about being fearless. It's about learning to take action even when you're terrified. For example, parachuting trainees experience immense fear the first time they jump out of a plane. I know I did. But over time, Brendon explains that even jumping out of a plane can start to feel routine, still exhilarating, but not fear-inducing. When we face our fears, we feel less fear over time. Okay, the first practice for this chapter is called Honor the Struggle. High performers know that struggle is part of the process. Brendon explains that to achieve excellence requires hard work, discipline, routines that can become boring, the continual frustrations that accompany learning, adversities that test every measure of our heart and soul, the people outside doing construction at this very moment while I'm filming, and above all, courage. But Brendon also says that honoring the struggle can be a really hard sell to people because we live in a world full of quick fixes and silver bullets and social media telling us that if everything isn't easy, we're doing something wrong. But Brendon points out that no one who achieved greatness avoided struggle. They welcomed it, they anticipated it, and they even leveraged it. And that kind of courage starts with mindset. High performers have trained themselves to see struggle as a sign that they're growing, not a sign they need to stop. Every time we need to embrace the suck, Brendon says we can use a phrase like this: the struggle I'm now facing is necessary, and it's summoning me to show up, be strong, and use it to forge a better future for myself and my loved ones. A performance prompt you can use to go deeper with this practice is, a struggle I've been facing in my life is, and the way I could change my view of this struggle is. The second practice is to share your truth and ambitions. Brendon explains that the main motivation of humankind is to be free, to express our true selves and pursue our dreams without restriction. And that requires a lot of courage. This idea reminds me of another book I read called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. 2 of those 5 regrets related to this idea directly. The first is, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And the second is, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. So many of us are living our lives terrified of other people's judgment. And here's the thing, if we put ourselves out there, they will judge us. People will judge you for failing or not being successful enough, while others will judge you for being too successful. So if people are going to judge you either way, let them judge you for something that you actually care about, instead of letting them control your life and keep you playing small. Now I realize that's easier said than done, which is why this practice requires and reinforces courage. But being honest about our ambitions is necessary if we want to experience the freedom Brendon is talking about. And giving ourselves that freedom is the only way to avoid those regrets at the end of our lives. It's also the only way for people to actually get behind us and support the ambitions that we have. Instead of making one big grand announcement about our new approach to authenticity, Brendon recommends making it a small, everyday practice to share something about what you really think or what you really want. You can say something as simple as, I was thinking about starting X because I'd love to Y. For example, I was thinking about making content because I'd love to help people facing the same challenges I've overcome. Or I was thinking about applying for a new job because I'd love to feel more passionate and appreciated at work. Here's a performance prompt to get you started. Something I really want to do but haven't shared with enough people is, And a major dream I want to start telling people about and asking for help with is, and now for the final practice in this series, find someone to fight for. Brendon explains that each of the highest performing people he interviewed told him about a specific person who inspired them to succeed. He said they all have a reason, and that reason was often a person, not always a purpose or a group of people, most often just one person. For me, that person is my dad. He's the firefighter that showed me how outdated their technology was during wildfires. And when I think about all the first responders we serve today, it started with me wanting to build something to help him stay safe and keep other people safe. So who is that person for you? Who do you want to show up for? And also, there are times where I think that person could literally be you. Maybe you need to be courageous for your future self, or even for your younger self, or someone just like you who's looking for a role model who really gets it. One final performance prompt for this chapter is a courageous action I will take this week because someone I love, or a group, or a cause, or my future self needs me to take it is, remember, courage is not something you wait for, and it's not something you just have. It's something you practice. And practicing courage is the single biggest indicator of high performance. It's also contagious. We can catch it from the people around us, and they can catch it from us as well. And speaking of, since so many of you have downloaded my 30-day habit accelerator, I'm going to host a free Q&A coaching call focused on helping you build one critical habit you've been thinking about. If you want to receive the invite, just grab the habit accelerator, also free, linked below. It's there to help you build momentum and get clear on what matters most right now. And if this was helpful, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next week with more startup lessons from the trenches. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on Thursday.